Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jolene Mujica. I'm the head of trends and tours at WindowsWear. Welcome to Monday WindowsWear Live. We are going to take a look at some retail news. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those on all of our social media channels, whichever one you are currently on and following, whether that is Facebook Live, Instagram Live, LinkedIn Live, or Zoom. So welcome. Let's take a look first at Uniqlo and see what's going on over at Uniqlo. So, continuing its ongoing expansion in Germany, Uniqlo has opened a new flagship store in an unserved yet really important corner of its major European market, and that's Hamburg. The Japanese apparel brand does this in a very big way, and they're occupying part of a listed monumental building in the heart of the city. The structure forms an integral part of a redeveloped string of historic structures along the Alter Wall Street, which has become this new downtown shopping zone, right? It occupies 18,837 square feet, set across 3 floors, and it's Uniqlo's second largest store in Germany. The building's original facade has remained intact, but the new interior was created by German practice GMP architects, which lend the precise sort of unprecedented model allure of the store, right? And a newly constructed atrium has been built, which is complete with an octagonal glass roof, which you can see that octagonal space here with the ascending staircase. Both triangular and diamond shaped surfaces allow for additional light and a spectacular circular staircase that you can see photographed here, which connects all 3 of their floors. So let's take a look at some of the other images from inside. So this is the exterior, obviously intact because it is a monumental building and a landmarked building. And adding more local flavor is artist and illustrator Stefan Mosenbach, who designed part of the stairwell for Uniqlo. This new Uniqlo flagship store carries the brand's full range of apparels and accessories for both men, women, and children. So while still maintaining the structural integrity of the landmark building and still adding those elements of that architectural inspiration inside of the building, we can see this completely uniquely localized design space from Uniqlo. All right, let's jump on over to our next article. Let's take a look at what's going on inside of Kim Kardashian's Skims Selfridges launch with its own cafe. So Kim Kardashian, her shapewear line has arrived at the UK, and it's exclusively available in a partnership with Selfridges. The reality mogul, of course, took to Instagram to celebrate the shapewear brand arriving exclusively at Selfridges, even with coffee named after her collection and sweet treats adorned with women in lingerie. Now, taking over the Selfridges Instagram page, Kim Kardashian shared how excited she was for the international launch of Skims, which had arrived. And of course, she apologized for not being able to attend the launch in person due to COVID concerns, but she answered questions from fans. Now, every wall of the space at Selfridges includes images of models and Kim herself wearing the Skims collection, which ranges in price from 8 to 150 pounds. And in an array of all kinds of different colors and skin tones, as well as matching takeaway paper coffee cups with the same design. So we've seen for quite some time pop-ups and brand partnerships popping up with the element of hospitality being added in there, right? This is not a new phenomenon, but certainly a smart one to engage with customers in a very Instagrammable and social media friendly moment, as well as getting them to a point of purchase that is not just product based. Now the biscuits are iced, and so we can we can see that of course the marketing and the logo imagery, as well as the actual menu, which is a play on the product colors and the product variations. Here we see the biscuits iced with the Skims logo. There's also napkins and pastries that have the logo plastered all over them, and shoppers can pick them up while they are browsing for their Skims products. The coffee menu follows, of course, the theme of the brand names for each skin tone, including sand latte, clay cappuccino, sienna americano, and cocoa espresso. The KKW makeup owner also shared a closer look uh, at the collections on offer and all of the stories that she did for Instagram, all modeled on mannequins, which are hanging up along multiple rails throughout the space. So here we can see that coffee cup that was exclusively built by Selfridges for the Skims coffee shop. And then more imagery from the coffee shop as well as the space itself. And whenever you have a celebrity based brand, here we can see those mannequins and different skin tones and options that are offered for the Skims line. Anytime you have any form of celebrity endorsement, or in her case, influencer endorsement, this is something that instantly has a lot of social media pull, as she's one of the most followed people on social media, on Instagram and TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitter. So this is something that certainly people will instantly, particularly beauty influencers or bloggers, will purchase to then do unboxing and unwrapping for the sake of likes and whatnot. So it's a very smart move to have her at the front and center of the brand, and because she couldn't physically be there for the launch, to have her jump on the social media channels to promote it as well. And here we can see, of course, iconic Mini Cooper, very to me ubiquitous to the landscape of the UK and Britain, in the Skims logo as well, outside of Selfridges, outside of the store. Let's move on to take a look at what's going on over at in the world of luxury consignment. So, digital luxury consignment platform The RealReal has opened a new flagship store in Chicago. This is the first flagship store that they've opened in Illinois, and particularly in Chicago. It is the largest location to date, and it features in-store valuation and tailoring services. It's located right on Chicago's Magnificent Mile. The store is 12,000 square feet, and it offers women's and menswear, children's clothing, accessories, footwear, as well as watches, jewelry, for the first time home decor, and even art. So the RealReal is very much expanding just past luxury goods in terms of clothing and bags, and now expanding their portfolio to include home decor, art, and children's wear. The centerpiece for the flagship is this glass encased watchmaker station, which we can see just on over in the center of this image, right on over here, where visitors can go and see the store's horologists at work and ask them for advice about watch purchases and watch care, right? A tailor is also on hand to do custom fittings, alterations, and apparel retail services in the tailoring department on the store's mezzanine level. While a full complement of valuation managers, gemologists, handbag experts, and resale specialists are available to guide and support shoppers and consigners both alike. Hungry visitors can drop into their location's cafe, which the RealReal has playfully called Cafe Cafe. It offers a range of options from local companies, including Troubadour Bakery, Carl's Craft Soup, Goddess, and Sightglass Coffee. Great, very smart job of utilizing localization with their hospitality and pairing up with local brands that promote sort of, the Chicago lifestyle and the Chicago food and beverage industry. And the store's product offerings have also been selected in line with brands and styles that are popular in Chicago, specifically, again, with localization, and currently feature a number of pieces from classic luxury brands like Prada, Valentino, Burberry, and of course, Tiffany & Company. Stores are always a growth, building a store and building a brick and mortar space is always a growth strategy for a brand, and they will, The Real Real is definitely looking to open more of them. They're committed to opening 2 stores a year. They shut down for a few months because of the pandemic, of course, when most retailers domestically in the US and internationally really were closed. But now, as we're starting to see the country and the world reopen, even though we are currently in the phase of, a second wave, we're starting to see that, they are, The Real Real has specifically opened their locations, offering limited capacities in their spaces. And even though the COVID-19 pandemic has led to an increase in online shopping, which accounts for most of The Real Real's business, the company saw a year-over-year decrease of 21% of its revenues for the second quarter ending in June 2020, which reported a total of $57.4 million. So losses at the platform also grew during that quarter. That's not uncommon for this particular year with COVID, but it also increased from 25 million in the same period in the previous year to 42.9 million. So according to the company, it saw improvements starting in July. And the Real Real's new Chicago flagship store joins their 2 stores in New York City, one in Los Angeles, and a store in San Francisco, as well as 10 consignment offices, which are run by the company all over the US. Let's take a look at what we think is going to be going. So now that, interestingly, the election is over and we know the results, and speaking, of course, of the presidential election here in the United States, I think retailers are really starting to focus on the holidays and what the holidays are going to look like this year, particularly for Black Friday, for Cyber Monday, right? For all of these sort of big shopping influx days that happen here in the United States. And what will Black Friday 2020 look like compared to years past, right? Is it still on? We'll detail, or rather, we're trying to detail sort of the latest changes in the COVID pandemic and what's going on with holiday sales specifically. So 2020 will bring a Black Friday unlike anything we've seen before. And forecasting 2020 sales is something sort of like assembling a jigsaw puzzle, right? Without missing some of the pieces. So it's very precarious as to how this is all going to unfold, but we're starting to see some strategies from some of the bigger brands, the luxury houses, the big box retail stores. Social distancing will be the most obvious change, but there are 2 other themes that we can expect to see emerge during Black Friday in 2020. The first one being a heavy focus on e-commerce, right? So Black Friday last year in 2019 saw 93 million shoppers buying online. But this year we can probably expect social distancing and health concerns, particularly where the country is right now with its highest COVID rate to date, to expand further into the trend of e-commerce. The second thing we're seeing is an extended season of holiday deals. If you've checked your email for the past 2 weeks, pretty much since Halloween ended, it's been nonstop with pre-Black Friday and Black Friday deals. And here we go. The holidays are officially here, right? Many of the top retail store owners are avoiding a single Black Friday offering. Their goal is to avoid the typical rush of foot traffic that you would see that Friday following Thanksgiving. So they're planning on spreading out sales over the holidays throughout the next coming weeks to curtail that rush of people that would generally wait outside the store at 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, there's no doubt that COVID-19 caused widespread economic disruption, but retail demand doesn't appear to be slowing down, contrary to what you might think. Amazon, which already had its Prime Day and had already reported record-breaking sales this year for their Prime Day, right? The only one that really gives Amazon Prime Day a run for their money is Singles Day in China with Alibaba, right? It sort of sweeps the floor with Amazon. But the holiday shopping season isn't really going anywhere. But it is really fair to say that 2020 may stretch Black Friday across an entire season rather than a day. And we're already starting to see that come to fruition. The holiday season, or rather, this begs the question also, has Black Friday as we known it in the past become obsolete? Depending on who you ask, absolutely. Some people still really love to eat their Thanksgiving meals and then hop in the car and go to Walmart or go to Target or Best Buy. Some people, for them, time with their family is more important, or they recognize that the better deal could be something on a Cyber Monday, right? This year's Black Friday falls on November 27th, but of course, health concerns have changed things. And so we're expecting less of an emphasis on the current Black Friday date specifically being November 27th. Big box stores are already preparing for this new reality. For instance, Walmart's Black Friday date deals will appear in 3 separate events. So 3 separate events for Walmart. Best Buy launched its own Black Friday sales earlier in the year to compete with Amazon's Prime Day, and other retailers like Macy's, Home Depot, and Target are starting to do and have done the same. In short, in many respects, Black Friday's already started. So if you've checked your inbox and started seeing those sales and those pre-sales and those pre-orders, it's already begun. Now, they still want savings on, if you still want savings on holiday purchases, you can start getting them without long lines or the risks of coming into contact with people and crowds in person. Because of this, customers are looking for alternatives to in-person shopping. The natural thing would, of course, be to do online shopping. And in fact, statistically, 52%, according to a survey, are planning to skip in-person shopping this year altogether. Some consumers or customers are adapting by getting their holiday shopping early, while others are opting for alternative purchase fulfillment like local pickup or curbside pickup. Some people are also just opting to do a much more minimal holiday season this year, right? Maybe just purchasing for the kids, considering that, 30 million people are still unemployed in the United States. This is a very, very different holiday season from seasons past. Even this generally tends to be the time of year where a lot of retailers will pick up for their seasonal allotment of hiring. That has still been in short supply as well. And shoppers really want options, right? It'll be very important for retailers to help consumers feel safe. And this means introducing new pickup options, being very flexible with returns, and accommodating shoppers' safety concerns. Will the stores be open on Black Friday this year? This is a question we hear a lot. Retailers are very wary of heavy foot traffic during this time in the US, and as a consequence, we can expect much of the typical in-store shopping to be shut down on Thanksgiving. Personally, I think this is wonderful that the employees get to take a break and actually spend a holiday with their families or with their friends, doing a Friendsgiving, whatever that may be for you. This applies to some large retailers which have already made this commitment. That includes Walmart, Target, and Kohl's. However, many stores have opted to open on Black Friday. Some of these retailers are considering very creative ways to limit foot traffic by deploying things like lotteries and appointment scheduling that would allow customers to shop in waves without concerns of overcrowding in the stores. How they will execute that, I'm very curious to see and interested to see, how that comes to fruition. These strategies are basically aimed at keeping retailers out of the news. No one wants to be in the risk of, first of all, a fine from the government or hordes of shoppers flooding your retail stores, violating local and federal mandates for crowds, and more so the sort of sting of social media being considered a super spreader event or a super spreader store, right? Nobody wants that PR during the holidays. And if Black Friday 2020 is going to look different compared to previous years, what is it going to look like, right? When are the holiday sales really going to start? Obviously, many have already, but we can expect sales in a more seasonal approach as opposed to the single day extravaganza of the Friday after Thanksgiving. Taking a look at Google Trends, for example, trends for the terms Black Friday sale are already hitting an increased interest throughout the month of October. So as of October, people were already looking for their holiday deals, recognizing that this year would be unlike any other. As such, retailers are taking advantage and implementing intermittent sales throughout the season. And this is why it's so difficult to have a sort of official kickoff date for this holiday sales this year, right? Start dates for holiday season deals are all over the calendar, varying from the week before Halloween to just this past week. For Home Depot, they're offering 2 months of Black Friday like deals till the end of the year. For Kohl's, they're closing their stores on Thanksgiving and incorporating a Black Friday week. Sam's Club is incorporating November savings all throughout the month. Target has already rolled out deals starting in October and will do the same through November. Walmart is offering multiple sales events with the first three starting in early November. That's already begun. And for Amazon, they're going to be hosting something called the Holiday Dash, which is expected to take the edge off of Black Friday. And the result of that is there's no new definitive start date. It's all just happening currently. And it appears that the midnight after Thanksgiving is no longer that sort of green flag moment, kicking off the height of the holiday season for shoppers. As such, smaller retail store owners should really take note of this emerging trend too, right? And the more operative question may be, a lot of people are like, well, how is COVID-19 going to impact Black Friday? How isn't it going to impact would be the shorter question, right? In some cases, it's only accelerated trends such as increased emphasis on e-commerce, and in other cases, it means new innovations like spreading out holiday deals throughout from October to December. Two key areas we think that COVID will leave a permanent mark on Black Friday for 2020 are the first one, e-commerce, of course, e-commerce thriving. This year, some of the heat is off of the Black Friday sort of quote unquote, shopping holiday, but that doesn't mean that anyone with an e-commerce store should expect Black Friday to be anything less than major sales. If anything, more shoppers are going to be going online than ever before. And there are two signs that e-commerce will face a huge demand. The first is, as far back as August, Google was preparing for a massive surge in their fourth quarter sales. How serious could that spike in traffic be? Google's planning for it to peak. Savvy shoppers online who want to avoid the sort of hustle and bustle and crowds of Black Friday may have already stayed home in years past. For example, in 2018, Cyber Monday became the largest shopping extravaganza in existence with $7.8 billion in sales domestically, right? So this year, COVID will only sort of force more shoppers to stay at home rather than waiting through long, even socially distanced lines, doing temperature checks, right? People are sort of a little weary of that, or they're exhausted from that, having to have done that at supermarkets and for their essential goods. They want to shop in a different way. And with many retail store owners already announcing that they'll be closed for Thanksgiving, there simply won't be as much momentum for physical shopping as in years past. Another thing is an increase in online competition. So spreading Black Friday offers more thinly isn't enough for some retail store owners. They know that they depend heavily on the foot traffic that they get on Black Friday. So if they're going to stay on track for their sales goals for this quarter, they're going to have to direct those people to their online resources. Anyone with an e-commerce channel or an omni-channel needs to be prepared for an influx of competition and demand, right? Particularly demand. These websites have to be primed and ready, and their bandwidth ready for people ready for those deals at midnight. Just like when, I equate this to something like Ticketmaster, right? When you are waiting for those concert tickets to go on sale, you are ready to make your purchase. So I think it's going to be very similar this year for the holiday season. And that's one reason for the increased stress on Google's cloud systems. According to its data, online demand has already skyrocketed since the onset of COVID-19, and the holiday season is expected to increase that demand threefold. And the implication for retailers is even something as simple as preparing for increased shipping demand could put you at an advantage over your competitors. We just saw this most recently when it came to shipping and credibility and timing, right, with the election in the United States, right? The USPS came under a lot of heat because of mail-in ballots that either never arrived or that arrived late, right? So there is a strain on the system, whether it's the USPS or the UPS, whether it's federal mail or whether it's private companies like UPS or FedEx. But we are certainly going to see companies vying for competition to make sure that people get their goods in a timely manner, because nobody wants Christmas gifts to arrive late, right? That is number one way for your customers to be unsatisfied and not shop at your stores again. And retail owners are already starting to engage in their predictive analytics to help sort of gauge their increase in demand. In the world's largest retailers, they're already preparing for huge spikes, right? It should only serve as a signal for the rest of the world. Online Black Friday shopping this year could set major records, could even potentially surpass Amazon Prime Day. Now, the next steps before this season is upon us, although technically what I've been saying is it's upon us already, online retail store owners are preparing for competition all season long, is the takeaway. And as such, every retail brand needs to prepare for this new reality with a greater focus on e-commerce. This new seasonal approach is a fantastic way for also every brand to manifest seasonality in new ways. Some shoppers will offer multi-day Black Friday deals. Some deals may last an entire season, with more demand shifting to online. Everyone and every retailer certainly needs the digital infrastructure to be able to handle the traffic spikes and demand of the consumers this holiday season. All right, we are going to go ahead and take a look at some of our member projects. Again, as always, if you are a WindowsWear member, please make sure that your projects are up to date, or rather that your profiles are up to date, and that your projects are posted on your profile so that you can be featured in WindowsWear Live. Let's take a look at our first project. This is Teatro Tre for La Rinascente to launch its gift box. La Scaramantica, the famous Italian pasta brand Viorello, decided to honor its origins, celebrating the city of Naples and its traditions. So here we can see that work. Fantastic job. Let's take a look over at Delta Global, see what they're currently working on. Over at Delta Global, they have built the beautiful Estee Lauder Holiday 2020 packaging. So we can see what that's looking like. If you are one of the millions of people that are going to be purchasing beauty goods, right? It's always nice to see what that packaging looks like, particularly the holiday season. Many retailers change their packaging specifically for the holidays. So we can see what Estee Lauder's holiday packaging will look like this year. Let's take a look on over here to see what Paolo Benzon has created, a frozen garden. This is an unusual Christmas showcase inspired to a winter frozen garden. Everything is made with recycled paper, recycled with sustainability in mind. On the backdrop, they have a very dynamic light box with light animation. So, of course, now that, again, Halloween is over and the election is over, many retailers have pivoted and are starting to focus on the holiday season, whether that's through their marketing campaigns or through their visuals. We're starting to see holiday windows pop up all around the world. And from here on out till January, that's pretty much where we're going to be. Arsenal New York has made beautiful installations for Madewell. So this is Madewell's Fall 2020 campaign. So here we see that fantastic work. Over at Quattrobi Lighting, let's take a look at see what Quattrobi is up to. So for Quattrobi Lighting, the LED lighting is, of course, being used more and more in retail spaces now, right? It's cost effective. It's a cost effective solution. It consumes a fraction of the power of traditional halogen lamps. And with new technology in LEDs, you're able to decrease heat and increase color rendering. So adjustable LED recessed lighting is a great option for any store, as well as track lighting. And adjustable recessed lighting provides a cleaner, more high-end look. And here's a collaboration that Quattrobi did on a beautiful aesthetics center. Really beautiful work. We'll take a look at one more project. This is brought to us by Light Blue. So Light Blue worked on Sephora Land for Sephora, which is their augmented reality technology. And, in the light of the global pandemic and restrictions around physical encounters, Light Blue has decided to bring the Sephora Middle East experience to the comfort of their guests' homes through engaging over influencers, media, MUAs, and VIP customers across the GCC. They executed a 4-day live stream to create Sephora's first ever virtual event in the Middle East. With over 26 live streams from global brands spanning from London, Paris, New York, all the way to Seoul and Sydney, they connected their audience through a collection of exclusive beauty talks, resulting in over 150 hours of unique content from Sephora brands, including Sephora Collection, Dyson, Sunday Riley, Fenty, Huda Beauty, Marc Jacobs, and Maison Margiela, discussing fall trends, showcasing unique product launches, and giving away prizes. The video's not working. So fantastic work from Blue Light for Sephora. As always, if you are a WindowsWear member, if you're not a WindowsWear member, please go to windowswear.com to sign up. If you are, make sure that your profile is up to date and that your projects are uploaded so that you can be featured on WindowsWear Live. Speaking of that, tis the season for the WindowsWear Awards, so please submit your projects to be considered for the WindowsWear Awards. WindowsWear Awards nominees will be announced on December 14th. So if you are a retailer, a vendor, a creator, and you are in the WindowsWear community, please submit your projects. Make sure that your profiles are up to date, and submit your projects so that you can be in consideration for a WindowsWear Award. The WindowsWear Award nominations, again, will be released on December 14th. And I will see you again next Monday for another installation of WindowsWear Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Please have a safe and healthy week, and we will see you next time.